Start it up.
What's up, my guy?
What's up, Doug?
Appreciate you sitting down with me. I wanted to start our show out with telling our audience a little bit about who you are, what you do. Who are you?
Well, I'm Chad Hudson. Was born and raised in Jeffersonville, Indiana, the Claysburg area or the Barber, J City, whatever we call it around here. Born in these two projects, one over here, national, one behind me, Greenwood. Lived my whole life around here. I lived in Louisville maybe about 20 years before I finally moved back over here after getting into the barber industry. So, other than that, just blessed, bruh. That's it.
Blessed.
Yeah.
When did you get into the barber industry?
First, kudos to Henry Shively. I bought this shop from him.
Okay.
Back in maybe 96. I wasn't a barber then. I was just using it just like you use a rental property, you know. Whatever's left over, that's my profit, you know, stuff like that. So I started barbering maybe about 15, 16 years ago. We've been open a little over 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you might be one of the longest open black-owned businesses in the area.
Could be. Could be. Like I said, it's been a blessing, brother, in this, you know.
Okay.
It was hard work, not to speak, but, you know.
So real estate first.
Yeah.
And then you know,
Come along with it, yeah.
Okay.
But that was just the principle of it, you know. Why not make this investment, you know? And plus, doing the barbershop's pretty much like a cornerstone. Why not make the investment? Anything left over, pay the bills. Anything left over is yours. So it was a no-brainer. The investment was, you know, at the time it wasn't sizable. It was feasible to me. So,
Okay.
yeah. I worked at, well, I say, when I graduated, I went to the Army. Put it like this, by the time I was 25, I went to the Army. I had been to Germany. I had been to college, and I'd been to prison, all under 25, along with 3 kids. So I always looked for a way out. It was never about, you know, the street life. It was just, I had kids, you know. I actually had 3 kids in 2 years, so I definitely had to do something.
Okay.
And that's where it came from. And then the barber thing, it just happened all at once, you know. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I was losing barbers on a regular stay. And I was like, you know, every once in a while barbers would leave. So I said, if ever, you know, one of my barbers leave, I won't have a barbershop. So there goes my investment. So at the time I had a brother, and we was thinking about what to do. And I said, man, you need to go to barber school, get your license so you can be in that shop, you know, because that was our way out too. And we just started networking. He went tried to get into barber school, and I just happened to be out eating somewhere and happened to see on a flyer when they had the job thing that said Decker Barbering School. I said, it clicked right there. I said, I need to go to barber school and protect my own self. So I actually got enrolled before he did. He eventually came to Decker following me because he was at another barber spot that wasn't moving fast enough, and he followed me. So we went on through Johnny Burrell, that was my brother's name. So we all went through, me and him went through that together. Barber Academy by Marshall Pence. And Marshall Pence is, I'm considered his golden child, so to speak.
All right.
I'm his first student ever, you know. And as I phased out on street stuff, barber stuff just kept accumulating. It was something we all did around here as youth, you know. There was plenty of barbers around here. Jordy Ross, Tony McGee, Mark Hickerson. There was a lot of cats cutting hair because that was the way, that was a birthday present when you grew up, you know. Your mother gave you a pair of clippers and said, cut your friend's hair. He cut your hair. That's how it, you know, it migrated into the situation now. But, yeah, I started seeing with barbering this, they make pretty good money, you know. And it's a stated income, so it's like on the laundromat, that was a good thing. Like, okay, well, it's things you could do. And it just took off from there. And like I said, I'm blessed. Most of the barbers I had under me stayed with me for about 15 years. And that's hard to be in barbering. Barbers don't stay. It's a big turnaround. It's always people coming and going for other reasons. But I try to be fair, loyal, and understanding, because I know what it's like to be a black male, being an elder in this shop, so I know what it's like.
Can we touch on that a little bit? For you, what's your experience of being a black male, whether it's here, America as a whole?
It's trying day in and day out. It's trying. If you don't have your mindset ready to go, you can lose any day. It shouldn't be where you have to get up and the process should be win every day, because it's a long grinding process, and it grinds brothers, myself, young or old, down to the ground. So most of our elderly work until they're 70 at times. You may find them at 67, retiring, whatever, but it's just a grind being a black man, because especially if you're conscious to a degree and you know what's out here. The street stuff I've seen, I've heard, I've done, so I understand, where they're coming from. I'm sympathetic to that, and I understand, but I also understand that one of my stories is, if I would have knew what I knew concerning barbering, I probably would have left street life a long time ago, just because it gives you that freedom of being your own boss, making your own schedule, and doing other endeavors. Like if you're in the music industry, and you can set your appointments up accordingly, and then okay, after this I'm going to the studio rest of the day. Or if you got stuff to do with your child, I had a child that was heavy in AAU and travel ball, so I set my schedule up, and then boom, I was going to do that. So it didn't limit you. Now it's also come to sacrifices, because generally you sacrifice your weekends, for the rest of your career if you don't get it, sorted out. But if you love what you do, it's never a job, because barbering, I don't consider barbering a job to me. It's what I do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you think about being in business 24 years, definitely lived a life, young, and you age, so the blessings of getting old. 2020, crazy year. We're introduced with a pandemic, national protests and civil unrest. We've got protests surprisingly in southern Indiana, but still roaring and moving fast and Louisville as it relates to Breonna Taylor. Did you think starting in 2020 that, one, was your business affected, and then two, did you think that you were either going to struggle or survive it?
Didn't really see it coming like that. I was actually in Cancun in March celebrating my 50th birthday. So when I got back 11 days later, it was time to shut down around the 22nd, So, like every barber, you have a nest egg, so to speak, or whatever. But my mindset was already pretty much made up to, before I got in the barber industry, my goals was, because what had happened with me was, the fortunate part was that I rented across the street for 7 years. I moved from the quadrangle, and then I rented for 7 years across the street. So at the same time I'm doing good, my rent started rising. I would sign 2-year leases, 5-year leases, and every year it seemed like she was going up, which is understandable with taxes, but I'm your only bread and butter over there. So I'm thinking like, okay. And at the whole time I'm looking across the street at the Sonic. So my real estate mind clicked in, and I said, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. So I inquired about getting a Sonic, and it went through. Everything, the finances, everything got straightened out, and it went through with my friends. They helped along the way. I had friends, and I had neighborhood that helped. Even all the way up to Miss Imogene Denny next door. She gave me. I used her electricity for about a month while doing, stuff around here, cutting down the beams and stuff like that. I'm like, let me give you. She would not take it. Save her life. She's like, nah. She said, you doing something now. So I owe a lot, Darlene Roberts, there's plenty of people that helped me along the way. So it prepared me for 2020 because by the time 2020 hit, I bet on black, bet on myself, and the shop you're in was paid off. So when it hit, I was missing my income, but also I didn't have that big note coming out of, of paying the rent, paying the mortgage. That was out. So I was like, okay. So the trying part was doing the craft of what I love. So I had to, adjust, like going door to door haircuts, like back in the days when women would go door to door doing hair and stuff. So we went back to the old days, basically, doing that. So 2020, it hit me, but by the grace of God, it didn't hit me the way it did. I had great support. I had family. I had good people around me. I always have. So that's been 2020, and it it's one of the worst things happened because I lost clients. I lost lifelong friends, The Walt Doves, the Mike Smithers. I lost a lot of people. I probably lost, coming through this shop, we probably knew about maybe 12 people that, lost their lives to the COVID thing or whatnot. So other than that, 2020 was just an eye-opener for me.
Have you gained anything from 2020? Living, surviving, last year as a business owner, personally?
Yeah. I think that what I did was, what I gained was from my knowledge of the way I treated really people in the streets. I've always told my barbers this. There's a difference between your clients and your customers. The difference is your client, you want to know how your client's doing, how's your day like, kids fine, family, whatever. They come here and say, look, Chad, I need a haircut till Tuesday. Can you get me in? Yeah, bro, it ain't no problem. You got a record, you good with me. Yeah, no problem. With me and my whole family, yeah, y'all good, come on. Whereas a customer is somebody like in Walmart or you have to eat at Red Lobster. You're just a customer. You can't go in Red Lobster and be like, not even know that waiter or whatever, say, yeah, can you take care of this meal? Can you take care of this meal till next week? And they like, man, I don't even know you do. So your clients are they're almost like an extended family. So the thing that I gained in 2020 was my exact treatment of how I've treated all my clients. That's what carried me through 2020, because them was the one that was calling for a haircut to come get in their garage or in their house or, or whatnot. So, yeah. So treat people how you want to be, treated yourself when it comes to clients. Everybody's got their, their faults and stuff like that. But when it comes to business, if you get more personable with people, you'll win out. You'll definitely win out.
Relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you think about perspective. This is what the perspective of 2020 and doing business. If you could go back in 19 and tell yourself anything to prep for this year, what would you say? Or I should say last year, because we're in 2021 now.
Yeah. Probably push harder. Push harder. I would tell my guys, you gotta, cause for 15 years, you gotta understand, even though they was paying me, I was generally the first one in, the last one to leave. And it was all because I liked the camaraderie, I liked but I also loved the job. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a job. It became like a men's club or whatnot, social distancing and all that, you know, came in effect and sort of deterred that. But I would just tell myself, you know, just push harder. I always tell my kids too, you know, work now and play later, you know, because that's what the white establishment's always done. You know, you got, you know, white, their peers' parents are retiring at 50, retiring at 45. They out the way. The rest of their time they're using their time to, you know, enhance their kids' life or enhance their businesses or whatever. But they put in the work first. So, and also they may have, you know, they had privileges along the way, but that mindset of work now and play later is definite. That should be definitely instilled in everyone, you know. Because in the end, when you get older, everything slows down. You want to be able to definitely have some stability. You got to, you know, even if it's a little. You know, as black folk, stability's not really being inbred in us like it. We go with the flow, which is a good thing because when this COVID thing hit, our eating habits didn't really change. They changed to a degree as far as going out to eat, but we still stretched our chili with spaghetti. You know, we still made that extra pot of beans, so we was all right, to be honest. We still that COVID spread. Yeah, that's where, you know, that was coming regardless because that's what we did, you know. So we made sure that every kid, you know, had something to eat, you know. So
you think about 2021, right? We're in January, we're getting ready to move forward, you know. Is there anything that was successful for you last year that helped you prep for what you're going to do this year in 2021 if things don't change, if things don't get better, so that you can continue to thrive?
Yeah, I mean, the streams of income would be probably the best thing, trying to create multiple streams of income. You know, again, a lot of you know, the black community doesn't have that, or not fortunate to have that. So a lot of things popped up out of 2020. There was a lot of sisters that was getting cooking, you know, whether some of them could or not, but they started cooking. They started doing the boutiques, the online boutiques. They started opening hair salons. Their hustle stepped up, which is just shows to our resiliency. So with that being said, 2021, I think the whole, you know, black community and people as a whole too, should just keep on the present course. If the same grind mindset you had in 2020, carry it on 2021. And if things loosen up in 2021, 2022, you're already ahead of the curve. So you're going to be able to adapt more. You're going to have your streams of income going, and, you know, and it should flourish even more. It's like investing in the stock market early. You go through the bad times, and then when it starts picking up, you already at the ground floor, you know, i.e. like a Bitcoin or something. You're already gone. You know, you're good. So,
you know, with the introduction of 2020 pandemic, civil unrest, have you seen a change or shift in terms of the black community here? You know, how growing businesses or collaborating, or even you know, see some opportunity in the future?
Yeah, in the Claysburg area, you know, there's been 2 businesses popped up across the street from me. That's the OG's Family Store, you know. Shout out to Juan, and then Swagger Boy Entertainment, Huggy, you know, Marlon Baker. Their businesses popped up overnight. As far as the idea, you know, they put it in their head and then they ran with it. So, with that being said, they definitely took it to the next level as far as like, okay, what better time to do it than now? You know, during the epidemic, people need things, you know. So, and out just really in the black neighborhood, and then there's another store around the corner. So within 6 months, probably a year in prepping, but within 6 months, it's been 3 businesses pop up all within less than a block radius. I think that, you know, it's a good thing.
You know, as we get ready to wrap up, and I appreciate you doing this, are there 5 things that you could part as wisdom for our viewers, those out there saying, hey, I want to get into business. I know entrepreneurship is the way to freedom and independence and, building personal wealth. What has led to your success? Could you park 5 things with them?
I would say as far as businesses, nobody's going to pay you better than yourself. Nobody. I don't care who it is, And always try to pay yourself first. A wise man once told us, me and a group of our friends, that, land's the basis of all wealth. And at the same time, always pay yourself first. Your check's $100, give yourself $25 to put up and figure out the rest. Know your worth. Because what happened during this epidemic, or what's happening during this is pandemic and epidemic, is that outside forces have told us what's important to the black community. Now, and I tell all my clients, tell my barbers the same. I tell quite a few people, I run my mouth a little bit, but I tell them in a minute, do not let them, I know there are laws in place, but understand this, that there will never be a time in history that the black barbershop or the black beautician is not in the black man and woman's top 3. 5, pushing it. 10, definitely. That's easy. That's a no-brainer. But me and my uncle one day was riding during this epidemic, coming down Butchell, and we seen a car wash open with some brothers working it. Now, I knew pretty much the white guy probably owned it, but there was a car wash going, and I'm like, it clicked in. I said, how in the hell is a car wash with all these automated car washes more important than a black business shop? Because a black woman's not going to go if you ask a black woman today, she's going to tell you her beautician is in her top 3 because she sees her beautician more than she sees her doctor. The black guys, we get away with a little bit more. We can go without a haircut in there, but it may squeak the top 5, and it depends on where you're at. In Atlanta, it's probably top 3. But it's definitely top 5, and it's a no-brainer to both of them the top 10. So you got to figure out ways of keeping yourself going, because while they're saying that you're not, what's the word there we use, essential, I beg to differ. Let's ask each individual or that community what's essential to them. Do you think the mob's hustle gang quit hustling in New York? You think they quit jacking trucks or whatever they was doing? It's no. We gotta.
Gangsters still running.
Yeah. You definitely got to know your worth on that. 3, don't play with your business. Whether it was streets or whether it was barbering, I didn't play with it. I didn't, because barbering was like my way out to a degree, but you don't play with it, because you investing in yourself, so why would you play with yourself? You invest in your hard-earned money, you invest in your time, and certain times you're bringing your family into it, so you're going to just waste everybody's time just to jack it off and in. No, don't play with it, because what you put in it, you're going to get out. You might not see it right away, because we as a people, especially even the youth are so quick they want it now. They don't want to work for it, and some do. But even the elders, they like, well, I don't work long enough, I want it now. Yeah, but, put in your work and then get it on the back end. The return's greater on the back end. So, got to unify. Got to. Because this thing ain't over. There's going to be a second wave, I believe, where it's going to be even more harsh to the first. And I'm trying to adapt myself, trying to figure out, okay, if they go this way with it, what am I going to do, all kind of angles from, how to keep my craft going or whatnot. So, but I'm fortunate, like I said, with the barbershop, it ain't nothing to pull up to somebody's house and get their hair cut or whatnot. So, and number 5, I'm on. My mother and grandmother she told her, just keep it living, and keep it living just consists of not putting your life in jeopardy, so to speak, maybe even eating better, just keep it living and go from there.
Yo, this your boy Gilligal, and welcome to Common Conversations. Yeah, that's it. 2020 is behind us. It was crazy. It was all kind of new. And yo, We know how to pivot. This is 2021. Let's get it in. And I want to have you on the show. Come podcast with me. Let's go live. Let's sit down and talk about all the good, the bad, the ugly, the green, the funny. Yo, y'all know how we do it. This is Gelly Gel. This is Common Conversations, and I'm inviting you to come tell your story. Let's go.